The
It's a
moment the
simple
elevator
mistake.
doors slid open, Manhattan glowed beneath the glass ceiling of Skyline on Fifth, a city of lights shimmering like ice under a winter moon. Inside the rooftop restaurant, crystal glasses chimed. A jazz trio warmed the air, and the hum of Wall Street egos filled every corner. Then, Nathan Cole stood. His voice cut through the room like a clean blade. "Find the error," he said, holding up a glowing tablet, "and I'll wire you $10 million. A beat of stunned silence followed. Then a ripple of disbelieving laughter. Heads turned. Forks paused midair. Even the waitstaff froze. Claire Hayes felt the sound vibrate through her chest as she stepped out from the kitchen doors, the scent of rosemary steak and lemon butter trailing behind her. She clutched a tray of champagne flutes, trying to ignore the swirl of expensive cologne, the low murmurs, the soft winter light bouncing off polished marble. She didn't look at Nathan. She didn't look at anyone. That was her rule. Stay small, stay invisible. But his voice forced itself into her awareness. "Come on," Nathan taunted, sweeping his gaze around the room. "Harvard, Wharton, Columbia. Someone here must see it." Claire's hands tightened around the tray. She hadn't meant to glance at his screen, but the numbers flashed past her peripheral vision, and old instincts sparked awake. Unwanted, automatic. A depreciation schedule, accelerated tax changes, a 5-year projection inflated by... She blinked hard, lowering her eyes. "No, don't do this, Claire. Not again. Not in front of people like these." But the error was so obvious, it practically screamed. Around her, New York's elite shifted uncomfortably. A banker coughed. A lawyer smirked. No one moved toward Nathan. No one even dared. Claire turned to slip away, feet already angling toward the service corridor. And then her breath caught. A whisper slipped out before she could stop it. "Row 9, column 4. She didn't even realize she'd spoken aloud. Not until the jazz trio's mic picked up her voice, soft but clear, and carried it through the speakers. The room stilled. Every head pivoted, including Nathan's. He looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time. His expression shifted from amusement to interest. "Did my waitress," he said slowly, "just talk to my model?" Claire's pulse jumped. The tray trembled in her hands. Walk away. Just walk away. But something made her lift her chin. Maybe stubbornness. Maybe the part of her she'd spent 8 months trying to bury. She stepped forward. "Let me see it," she said softly, almost surprising herself. Nathan held out the tablet. The glow lit her face as she scanned the page, fingers hovering but never touching. Her voice steadied with each word. "You're using last year's depreciation formula. The new tax legislation changed the write-down rate. Your 5-year return is inflated by about 12 million. A choked sound escaped someone behind her. Brooke Harrington, Nathan's fiancée, stared daggers across the table, nails digging into her champagne flute. Eric Chang stood beside Nathan, stiff as stone, his eyes narrow and calculating. Nathan said nothing as he scrolled. 10 seconds. 20. Then he looked up, and there was no arrogance left, only recognition. "What's your name?" "Claire," she whispered. "Claire Hayes." Nathan turned to the room. "She's right. And I pay my debts. Claire just earned $10 million. Gasps broke out across the restaurant. Brooke went pale. Eric's expression sharpened like a blade. Claire stepped back, dizzy. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. Nathan slipped a business card into her shaking hand. His private number inked on the back with one deliberate stroke. "Call me," he murmured. "We're not done." She didn't remember breathing after that. She drifted toward the bar, away from the voices, the stares, the storm she had accidentally unleashed. Her hands finally unclenched. And the only thing left between her fingers was a white linen napkin, crumpled from the pressure of her grip. A small symbol of the world she belonged to. and the world she had just stepped into, whether she wanted to or not. The break room door slammed behind Claire the moment she stepped inside, shutting out the noise of Manhattan's elite still buzzing about the $10 million miracle waitress. The room smelled faintly of burnt coffee and cleaning supplies, lit by a harsh fluorescent bulb that flickered every few seconds. Claire's knees almost buckled with the sudden silence. She dropped into one of the plastic chairs, the business card burning hot in her palm. Nathan Cole's private number, written in dark, confident ink. Her pulse still hadn't slowed. A second later, the door burst open again. "Okay, you need to start talking before you pass out," Jasmine Ortiz said, rushing in, curls bouncing, eyes wide as headlights. She set 2 water bottles on the table, pushed one toward Claire, then crouched beside her. That was insane. Was he serious? 10 million? And that look on his face. "Girl, who are you?" Claire tried to laugh, but it came out brittle. "I don't know what you saw, Jas, but I didn't do anything except open my stupid mouth. That's not what I saw. I saw a woman who looked at a billionaire's numbers like she was checking the weather report. What are you hiding?" Claire stared at her trembling hands. The truth sat just behind her teeth, heavy, sour, stubborn. 8 months she had kept it locked away, buried under long shifts and forced smiles. But Jasmine wasn't the type to walk away, and Claire was too tired to lie. "Before this," Claire whispered, "I worked in consulting, mergers, acquisitions, strategy. I built my own boutique firm." Jasmine's eyebrows shot up. "Like real consulting? Columbia MBA level consulting? Top 5%. Claire swallowed hard. "My partner, my fiancé, Tyler Monroe, he was the face. I was the engine. 3 years we built that company together." Jasmine didn't speak. She just reached quietly and squeezed Claire's forearm. Claire continued, voice tight. "And then one morning, a federal investigator walked into my office holding a warrant. Tyler was running offshore accounts, forged signatures, stole from clients, and he used my name on half the paperwork." The hum of the fluorescent light filled the silence. "By the time I realized what he'd done, he was already gone," Claire said. "Turned my life into a headline. Brilliant consultant or co-conspirator. Lawyers cleared me, but the press didn't care. My clients didn't care. My reputation died overnight." Her voice cracked. "I didn't know where else to go, so I came here. Easier to disappear when nobody bothers to look you in the eye." Jasmine sat back slowly, the truth settling between them like dust. Then she reached out, took Claire's hand, and said softly, "You didn't deserve that, and you sure as hell don't deserve to stay invisible forever." Claire opened her mouth to respond, but the door swung open again. And this time, the temperature in the room dropped. Brooke Harrington stepped inside with the calm precision of a scalpel. Red Valentino coat, diamond bracelet catching the fluorescent light, eyes sharp enough to cut glass. "Out," she said to Jasmine without looking at her. Jasmine bristled. "Excuse you." Claire touched her wrist. "It's okay. Just go." When the door closed, Brooke turned the lock with a soft click. Then she walked a slow circle around the room, heels tapping on the linoleum floor like a countdown. "Let me be direct," Brooke said. "I don't know what you think you did out there, but whatever fantasy you're spinning in that head, stop." "I'm not spinning anything," Claire replied, lifting her chin. Brooke's smile tightened. "I am the daughter of Richard Harrington. I have influence in every hotel, every boardroom in this city, and I will use all of it to crush you if you step 1 inch closer to Nathan." Claire exhaled a shaky breath. "He offered me a job, not a relationship. Don't insult me." Brooke leaned closer, voice dropping to a venomous whisper. "I saw the way he looked at you. Nathan has a savior complex. He collects broken things, tries to fix them. You're perfect for that." Claire's fingernails dug into her palms. I don't want him. Brooke's smile widened. Cruel. Icy. Oh, but he wants you. And that's the problem. She reached into her coat and pulled out a thin manila folder, tossed it onto the table. Inside, printed articles, mugshots from news sites, her own face blurred under harsh headlines. Her nightmare on paper. That information is sealed, Claire whispered. Brooke shrugged. Sealed for regular people. My lawyers, however, are exceptional. She turned toward the door, pausing just long enough to deliver the final blow. You have 24 hours to decline his offer. If you don't, your past becomes front-page news again. And trust me, this time, nobody will believe you were innocent. The door clicked shut behind her. Claire sat frozen, heart pounding, the fluorescent light flickering overhead. She stared down at the folder, her life, her shame, laid bare, and felt the walls of her safe little world folding inward. Then her phone buzzed, a text, unknown number. I hope Brooke didn't upset you too much. She can be territorial, but she doesn't speak for me. Nathan Clare's breath hitched. Another message appeared. Your past doesn't scare me. Your mind interests me. Her hands trembled, and on the table beside her, the manila folder slowly slid open, its damning pages spilling out, the symbol of everything she'd run from and everything she could no longer hide. A past resurfacing, a threat declared, and an offer she suddenly wasn't sure she could refuse. The elevator rose toward the 49th floor with a soft metallic hum, its glass walls reflecting the city drifting farther beneath Claire's feet. She had spent most of the night replaying Brooke's threat, Nathan's texts, and every warning her heart screamed at her. But she'd shown up anyway. Navy dress, borrowed courage, and a contract tucked under her arm like a shield. When the elevator doors opened, the atmosphere shifted immediately. Stone Enterprises buzzed with a different kind of energy. Polished floors, controlled voices, the faint scent of espresso drifting from corner offices. It felt like stepping back into a life she'd abandoned mid-sentence. Jennifer, Nathan's assistant, greeted her with a warm smile. Miss Hayes, he's waiting for you. Claire's pulse kicked. She followed Jennifer down a corridor lined with glass offices and city views. When they reached the conference room, Claire's breath caught. Nathan was already inside. Not the billionaire who taunted an entire restaurant. Not the man who texted her at midnight with gentle honesty. But the CEO, jaw set, sleeves rolled, posture sharp with authority. At the long table sat Eric Chang, COO, arms folded like iron bars. Two analysts flanked him, both stiff, guarded. Nathan glanced up. Right on time. Claire, take a seat. Her chair whispered against the floor as she sat. Nathan nodded to Eric. Let's walk her through your recommendation. Eric slid a thick binder across the table with deliberate slowness. We're advising termination of the Meridian deal. Their numbers are a wreck. Their models collapsing. Continuing would be irresponsible. Claire opened the binder. Cash flow decay, mounting debt, board hostility. All real, all valid, up to a point. But something tugged at her instincts. She flipped a page. Footnotes, asset breakdown, retention anomalies. The same whisper she'd heard in the restaurant. She lifted her eyes. What if you're evaluating the wrong part of the company? She said softly. Eric barely hid an eye roll. We're evaluating what matters. No, Claire said, voice strengthening. You're evaluating what's loud, not what's valuable. She stood before she realized she had. Markers clicked against the whiteboard. Lines, arrows, numbers. Her mind moving faster than her hands. Meridian's consulting division is failing. But their core algorithm, this machine learning engine, cuts data processing costs by 40%. 40. Their customers stay because nobody else can do what they do. Nathan leaned forward, eyes darkening with interest. Claire kept going. You're not buying their present, you're buying their potential. Strip away the sinking parts, pull their tech into stone enterprises, and suddenly their decline becomes your competitive advantage. Silence. Heavy. Electric. Lisa, the head financial analyst, spoke first. She's not wrong. Eric's jaw flexed. It's speculative. So was every successful acquisition Nathan ever made, Claire countered. It was bold. Too bold. She felt the room react, the shift of shoulders, the sharp intake of breath. But she didn't back down. Nathan finally spoke. I want a full analysis following Claire's framework. 2 weeks. Eric, you'll support her. Eric's expression tightened, polite mask cracking at the edges. Of course, but his eyes told a different story. The meeting dissolved into scraping chairs and whispered conversations. As the executives filed out, Nathan lingered behind, stopping Claire with a gentle touch at her elbow. His voice dropped. That was impressive. Heat rose to her cheeks. I just did what you hired me to do. You did more than that. You changed the room. He stepped closer, not inappropriate, but undeniably intentional. You also made Chen very uncomfortable, Nathan murmured. He's territorial. Don't let your guard down around him. An uneasy chill slipped down Claire's spine. Is that advice? She asked. Or a warning? Both. Before she could reply, Jennifer appeared at the door. Mr. Cole, your mother is on line 1. Says she'll hold. Nathan sighed. Perfect timing. He turned back to Claire with a half smile. My mother wants to meet you. Claire froze. Me? Why? Because she knows when someone makes an impact on me. The impact of his words lingered long after he left the room. Claire walked back to her new office. Her office. Heart racing. Confidence and fear wrestled inside her chest. She had proven herself. She had earned respect. But as she reached her door, she saw something through the glass wall. Eric Chang, standing alone in the hallway, watching her with an expression that was far too cold, far too calculating. A warning, a challenge, a promise. He turned away the moment she met his gaze. And on her desk, illuminated by the city beyond, lay the dry erase marker she'd used. A thin black line smeared across her fingers, like a boundary she had unknowingly crossed. Midnight draped Manhattan like a velvet curtain, the city glowing beneath it, quiet in the way only the late hours can make a place feel. Inside the 49th floor executive suite, the world felt even quieter. Too quiet. Claire stood at Nathan's desk, sleeves rolled, blue light from the dual monitors washing her face in cold tones. Dozens of financial reports lay scattered across the wood surface, inked trails of numbers, dates, shell companies. And they all pointed to one thing, one person. Nathan paced behind her, hands in his hair, jaw tight. Please tell me we're wrong, he said. Just once. Tell me we're wrong. Claire swallowed. For a long moment she didn't trust her voice. Then, no, she whispered. We're right. This is embezzlement. 18 months of it. Maybe more. Her finger traced a line across the screen, routing transfers hidden inside integration chaos, false vendor payments, the same patterns that had burned her life to the ground once already. She felt cold all over. Eric, Nathan exhaled. I trusted him. 10 years. He knows you're looking, Claire said. He texted you an hour ago. He's watching. Before Nathan could answer, the lights snapped off. Both froze. A second later, red emergency strobes kicked in, bathing the office in an eerie crimson glow. The soft hum of HVAC died. The security system went dead silent. Nathan moved instantly, stepping in front of her. Stay behind me. Footsteps echoed from the hallway, slow, heavy, deliberate. Then the door opened. Eric Chang stepped inside. No mask, no panic. Just a man who had finally stopped pretending. Behind him stood 2 men. Claire didn't recognize. Broad shoulders, black jackets, faces blank. Eric looked at her first. You should have kept your head down, Claire. You were supposed to be temporary, replaceable. Nathan stepped forward, fury burning beneath his voice. You stole from my company, tried to bury it under acquisitions. You think I'm letting that slide? Eric lifted a gun. Claire's breath vanished. The red lights pulsed across his face, distorting him. No longer the polished COO, but something sharper, hollowed by greed. You were never supposed to find it, Eric said. I had 6 more months before I walked out clean. But then you hired a prodigy waitress with a savior complex, Nathan. And she ruined everything. His rage snapped toward Claire. And you just couldn't resist proving how smart you are. Claire's heart hammered so loud, it drowned out the sirens in her head. I sent backups, she lied, stepping forward. Cloud storage, lawyers. If anything happens to us, the evidence goes public. Eric's gun shifted. You're bluffing. Try me. Red lights flickered. One of the men tensed. Nathan's muscles coiled beside her like compressed steel. Then everything erupted. Eric fired. The bullet shattered the glass wall behind Claire, sending diamonds of glass sparklighting across the floor. Nathan lunged, tackling Eric. The gun skidded across the tiles. Claire didn't think. She sprinted. Her hand slapped the fire alarm at the door with every ounce of strength she had. A violent shriek split the air. Automatic calls to the fire department triggered instantly. Sirens wailed through the building like the heartbeat of salvation. The 2 men hesitated, panic cracking their bravado. Cops will be here in 2 minutes, Claire shouted. Run or get arrested. They bolted. Eric fought like a man possessed, but Nathan wrestled him to the ground, pinning him until officers stormed through the doorway, weapons drawn, shouting commands that blurred into noise. Eric's stare never left Claire as they dragged him away. You ruined everything, he hissed. No, Claire said, breath shaking. You did. When the last officer left, the office fell silent, except for the distant wail of fire engines arriving below. Claire leaned against the doorway, every muscle trembling from adrenaline. Nathan stepped toward her. Claire, he whispered, voice raw. You saved us. You saved the company. You saved me. His hands cupped her arms, grounding her, anchoring her to something real after so long drowning in fear. She forced a small smile. I wasn't bluffing, she said quietly. I really did send the evidence to 3 attorneys. Nathan laughed, a breathless, stunned sound. You're incredible. But Claire shook her head. I'm just tired of running. Nathan's expression softened in a way she'd never seen before. Something unguarded, something new. Outside the shattered glass wall, dawn began to rise above Manhattan, soft gold bleeding into the skyline. The night was ending. A chapter was closing, and reflected in the jagged edges of broken glass was the symbol she didn't expect. A horizon opening. A second chance finally beginning.